Cody's called Cinema Cast. Welcome, listeners. Welcome to Kyle and Cody's called Cinema Cast. Everyone's favorite podcast that no one actually watches. Although we have a listener in India apparently.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah. No, we got an India. We got a Philippines.
Ireland.
We got Ireland in the UK.
Yeah.
Um,
We're getting those weird
there was
outside.
Yeah, the odd one. In Iceland, I think. Maybe Denmark?
Mm-hmm.
Are they the same thing? I can't remember.
I wonder why this is.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
know. I suppose some people are just looking for stuff.
English stuff though.
Oh yeah, I mean they watch a good bit of English TV actually. If they maybe not too much, but that's how some of them learn. Some people learn English. They watch TV.
That's fair.
And pick it up. Yeah, I've heard that from some people occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this week we're reviewing Gangster Squad, which is not as good as I remember it from when I watched it in theater.
I'm trying to figure out why this is on the list in the first place.
I liked it in 2013. I didn't remember people talking about it, so. But it's not. I get it now. I get why it didn't take off as much. But yeah, no, I watched it in like 2013, right after high school. So
it's got the star power behind it, and I'm surprised it really flopped as much as it did.
Yeah, Josh Brolin. Some of these names are a bit more recently, but it's got Sean Penn in it, and actually lots of guys who have actually Sean Penn, Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling, and people who have gotten more famous. We got the Thanos / Cable / Jonah Hex, Josh Brolin.
Mm-hmm.
We got Anthony Mackie in here. We got Michael Pena, who Anthony
Nick
Mackie
Nolte.
Who is he?
I don't know, but his name definitely rings a bell.
But yeah, Anthony Mackie's obviously the new. He's going to be Captain America eventually when they get that fucking show out. Which I'm very impatiently waiting for Captain America and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I'm not actually looking forward to this guy becoming Captain America at all. He has zero superpowers.
Because I mean, he didn't in the comics either. When he was Captain America, he was still badass. Okay, so Nick Nolte's in 48 Hours, Cape Fear, Warrior. He's in Hulk. He's in Hulk 2003.
Yeah, is the father? He was the father of Bruce Banner.
Oh, he's
David Banner.
Brian Banner.
Hotel Rwanda. Nope. On Wikipedia, it says David Banner.
In the cast list for the movie, it said Brian Banner. I don't remember what Bruce Banner's dad is name. All I know is he beat his kid.
Oh.
Yeah, no, oh yeah, Hulk is, again, he's a deep, complicated character that the Marvel movies just waste pretty consistently. It's sad that Age of Ultron is the best Hulk movie. That's incredibly sad.
Really?
Not gonna argue with me
on
that.
I would have put it on. Yeah. It's definitely probably Thor Ragnarok.
I mean, I've read Planet Hulk, which is the stuff that the Thor Ragnarok Hulk stuff is based on, which just so much better. And yeah.
He's fighting alien stuff in space. How do you like that more than Age of Ultron though?
I just think he has more character moments than Age of Ultron. I mean, the stuff that they set up in Ragnarok isn't capitalized upon at any point either. Because let's face it, between like 3 and 4, Avengers 3 and 4, they really just like ignore the Hulk stuff. They say, "Oh, we worked it out off screen." Yeah, no, but no, if you read Planet Hulk, because the Hulk has not gotten his fair shake on the silver screen. We need a good Hulk movie. We deserve a good Hulk movie.
If I think anybody who could pull off a good Hulk movie, it's the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok. So
I don't know. I mean, Taika Waititi is good. I don't have a complaint about him, but no, I just don't really care for. He didn't capitalize on the Hulk very well, and That's what.
Well, he's only done one movie in the MCU.
Yeah, but I mean the Hulk, the Thor stuff in Hulk and Ragnarok was significantly better. The Hulk feels like a bit of an afterthought, really. He doesn't really do much.
To be fair, I can't even remember how the Hulk got onto what happened to the Hulk in between.
No, exactly. Nobody knows. He just fucking he flies off with the fucking Quinjet at the end of Age of Ultron, and then just disappears, and ends up. Apparently, he ended up on another planet. Fuck if I know how that happened. Yeah, no, yeah, it's
been a really long time since I've went and watched like a re-up of all the Avengers movies. So
anyway, but yeah, no, I can't wait for Captain Falcon America to come back. He's just awesome looking, and I can't wait to see that costume on live action. That's yeah, Gangster Squad.
Wasn't there two contenders for who was going to play the? Was it Falcon? Because comic book wise, Bucky takes up the mantle of Captain America.
Yeah, I'm not as big on Bucky Captain America.
Yeah, but he's got more powers than Falcon.
I know. It's just not. I think he's more interesting as the Winter Soldier, whereas like Falcon as Captain America is pretty damn cool. And he's got like a decent costume, which Bucky
I was just gonna say that Bucky's Captain America could probably throw the shield a lot harder than Falcon's Captain America can.
Yeah, but Falcon can fly.
Yeah, but does he keep the flying suit?
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, no,
so
he flies and also has the shield.
I'd like to change my answer now.
He flies and also uses the shield occasionally.
Because I mean, I guess that technically gives him more power, like than.
Oh yeah, I mean, look up Captain a picture America. Of like the. Yeah, look up a picture of Falcon as Captain America. The costume is something special. It is beautiful looking. Whereas like Bucky Captain America's costume is really it's a swimsuit essentially. It's just a diving suit. I don't think it's very interesting.
I don't know if I'm looking up the right pictures here.
I don't know. I'll just show you some. I hate Google Images. It doesn't let you just download the image. We'll do this later. Fuck. Gangster Squad.
Yeah.
I hate Google Images. It doesn't let you download the image anymore just to fucking waste your time. Ugh. Anyway. Yeah, so Gangster Squad. It's inspired by true events. It's not really. I mean, basically nothing that happens in this movie happens in real life. None of the guys that die in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Mickey Cohen goes to jail for tax evasion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And then gets released.
Yeah, he went to jail. Yeah. Well, he only has 4 years in the first time, and then he gets charged with it again and gets 15 years. And then he got bailed out of Alcatraz, ended up in a smaller prison in Atlanta, and then got beat up in a bit of pipe. Like they say what happens to him at the end of the movie. And that, but it happens like 15 years later or 20 years later or something.
Well, this is based in the 1945, set in 1949.
Yeah, 1949.
How is this any different than when Al Capone went to Alcatraz? Because 1940.
Not really.
Well, Al Capone was picked up on tax evasion, right? The same thing Mickey Cohen's charged with in this movie, but they gave Al Capone like 15 years for tax evasion.
Yeah. He got hit with the book a little bit harder. They'd end up matching that sentence in Cohen's second tax evasion thing. He also went to jail in 1954. This movie ends in maybe 1950, depending on when you say it starts. Although, no, it's 1949 because it ends at Christmas. Yep, so this takes place over the course of maybe like 9 months. So
and is canonically a Christmas movie.
Yep, I suppose. Yep, ends at Christmas. But yeah, Cohen went to jail in like 1954. The only real characters in the movie are Josh Brolin's John O'Hara, which was real life Jack O'Hara. I think they changed the name. I'd say to be legally distinct, but I think it's more likely to say it's because there's also another Jack in the movie. So
Hmm.
they just changed the name on one end. Yeah, basically none of the deaths happen as described. The other real guy is Nick Nodal's Bill Parker is a real guy. We'll explain some more stuff about him a little later. But he's a real guy. He plays Bill Parker, who's the longest serving LA police chief. I believe
Hmm.
that's correct. And then Giovanni Ribisi's character, Conwell Keeler, is also a real guy. Yeah, so the real thing is the Gangster Squad is or it's a real thing. It's more of a I think they did do some actual shooting, but it is a intelligence group within the police force. So they did more of the they used some wiretapping in this movie, and they were more leaning toward that. They were basically set up to deal with organized crime, which was being difficult to do, and also to look into dirty cops, which were becoming a problem.
Hmm.
And they actually started out in 1946. The entire thing's actually formed by a different police chief whose name I'm forgetting, and then
Clements B. Horrell.
yep, Clemens started it in 46, I believe, and then Bill Parker took over. And Bill Parker on himself is also a controversial figure. He's maybe not running. I mean, it's hard to like really judge him in this context, but in other contexts, it's like the Winston Churchill effect. If you stop examining him through the eyes of World War II, he becomes a lot less sympathetic, you know?
Hmm.
And a couple of the ages are wrong. Mickey Cohen's like 39 at this point in 1949. So he's and Sean Penn's portraying him a bit older, probably in his 50s. Bill Parker is like 49 in 1949 or something like that. So
Yeah.
not in his 70s. And there's a few other bullshit things, but that's just plot related. So we'll get into that. But yeah, it initially started with 8 guys. A lot of the guys in the movie, particularly, there were no equivalent of Anthony Mackie or Michael Pena's character. You can actually see the picture of the original Gangster Squad. It's all white characters or white guys.
Hmm.
Emma Stone's character, Grace Faraday, I don't know how realistic she is. Mickey Cohen did have a an etiquette tutor, which is what her role is in the movie, which isn't terribly clear. So she's based on that, but I don't know that she's real at all as described in the thing. I don't know anything about her sleeping with Ryan Gosling's character, who I don't know is real. I didn't see any reference to Jerry. And then the other character, I'm forgetting his name. I think it's Max Kennard. But there's an old Westy guy. They call him Hop Along, and there's an equivalent to him, but he's not. He's very different as from, or he's a different guy in this as to real life. All right, we'll get into it. So yeah, I just wanted to to talk about like the inspired by true story thing. This is very easily the least accurate historical movie we've watched. So the movie opens to Josh Brolin giving a monologue about Mickey Cohen, who is who is the big bad of the movie. Mickey Cohen is a Jewish gangster who established himself under Bugsy Siegel, who had been assassinated 2 years before the filming of this movie, or not the film, the events taking place in the movie. And yeah, he's taking on, and he is trying to, his goal through the movie is to break away from Chicago crime families and set stuff up. There's lots of stuff that happens in this that we'll get into it later. So yeah, we're welcome to L.A. in 1949. Mickey Cohen is quartering a guy with a couple cars for to send a message to Chicago telling them he's not going to, I guess, pay his dues anymore. And then we cut to our main character, Jack O'Hara, who is doing some police work in a bus station where a young lady arrives, and some shady characters start luring her away under the guise of a audition because she's come here to be an actress.
Sorry, I was gonna say I can tell this guy was not gonna be a good guy because I took one look at his mustache and it was I was like, man, that's a dirty mustache. I'd be staying very clear
Yep.
away from this person.
Josh Brolin follows the guy, follows him into a hotel, or like a apartment building, hotel room, whatever you want to say, or hotel, leaving his partner behind who doesn't want any part of this because this is one of Mickey Cohen's buildings. He breaks in and saves the girl from the gangsters, and this and he books all the guys. He does this through an elaborate fight scene. One guy gets his hand cut off because police brutality.
Oh,
Yeah, this
elevators.
movie's yeah. He just keeps the guy's hand in the midst of the elevator. Doesn't even try to cuff any of these guys. Just beats the shit out of them. Which a lot of this is ethically dubious. I mean, these are gangsters, so it's not like he's doing it on the street. So there's that. But yeah, he's doing a lot of stuff. The real life John O'Hara points out that, like, oh yeah, there's lots of stuff we did in real life that would have gotten us fucking indicted too. So yeah, this is a bit true to life, maybe not in this sense, but yeah.
Okay, so just to put the record straight here, because you keep on butchering these names every couple of minutes, Jack O'Hara was the original guy in the original Gangster Squad. The guy who's played Josh Brolin is playing John O'Mara.
Oh, yep. Okay, John
I've
O'Mara.
heard you call them every single variation of those two names possible.
Oh, that's entirely possible. They are exactly the same.
Next, you're going to be calling O'Hara O'Mara, and that's the only one you haven't called him so far.
Miguel O'Hara. No, wait, that's Spider-Man.
What?
So yeah, Spider-Man 29/9, Miguel O'Hara.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, character. I don't really read too much of his stuff.
I've never read 2099, so.
And not a lot of it's not good. A lot of it's just like the Doom 2099 was okay, and Spider-Man 2099 was okay.
Anything that's set in the future, I wouldn't read.
Anyway, so yeah, he brings the guys in. His chief calls him in and tells him that they're gonna walk, signaling that the police force is corrupt, which does, in a way, justify some of the crap that happens later. But I mean, again, ethically dubious. But especially since in real life they brought Mickey Cohen in for tax fraud, and maybe some of this wasn't necessary. Yeah, this is a very actiony version of true events. Although I would have liked the line where he said when he brings the person in and there's like, those guys are gonna walk. He's like, he could have said, yeah, but that girl's gonna live. And there you go. There's justification. That's
exactly. And the last time I checked, one of this scene is kind of weirdly shot because later on in the movie, I can't remember who it was showing, but it was O'Mara who was setting loose like some of Michael Cohen's or Mickey Cohen's prostitutes. But this is never shown. It was just a one girl.
Yeah, apparently after this, he just opens up a couple more doors and finds just like, oh yeah, prostitutes lying around. So this was actually a lot bigger bust than it's led on to be. This may be because of the reshoots. The movie was delayed because they put out the trailer right after the Aurora theater shooting, if I have that right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading that earlier.
And then they delayed it to 2013. So they had some reshoot time, so they put those in. So that might be a result of that. Maybe. Can't say for sure.
Yes.
I don't work at Warner Brothers. But yeah, that could have been a thing in here, cuz one of his character flaws really is that he's a soldier more than a cop, cuz he's just like totally fine with just like going in and shooting people. And to be fair, he was a soldier, so he has been trained in that sort of way. But you don't get like the criticism that you get of that sort of thing, like you get with like there's a pretty good video game called Mafia 3 where they examine this of okay, this soldier guy's been taught how to do like terrible things on behalf of his government, and he's been taught this is an appropriate way to deal with evil. So okay, if I'm cool to do that in Europe, why can't I do it here? Is like the I don't know, Nazi soldiers so much better than a gangster who's keeping prostitutes docile on Mexican heroin, as they put it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's an interesting idea, which isn't covered here. It is covered in Mafia 3, which is a all right game, if not quite as good as it could have been, though I still really like it. So when he gets home from getting chewed out by the police, he gets chewed out by his wife because he came home with a black eye, and she's been giving him shit about not getting into danger, which
Mm-hmm.
I think Endgame is she's trying to pressure him out of being a cop, which I guess might be fair because she's trying to get him out of that violence. And I think he works in homicide too, so he's not necessarily. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense here. Like, why is he patrolling people when he's working in homicide? Because he's an actual detective.
He's a detective. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't a beat cop. He was just happened to be next to this woman getting kidnapped. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It makes a bit more sense with Ryan Gosling character.
Especially because they followed the guy from the train station.
Yeah, so just whatever they were doing before, I guess got ignored? Was it important? Were they just on lunch? That doesn't explain. It makes a bit more sense with Ryan Gosling character, because I think he's supposed to be Vice or something. But so it makes a little bit more sense he'd be around the a bit more of this criminal stuff that he's around. We'll get to that, but yeah, I guess his makes more sense. But Josh Brolin's John O'Mara doesn't make much sense here. So yeah, she gives him a bit of shit there. And then we get our scene with Mickey Cohen where it's revealed that Detective O'Mara has compromised this brothel operation. So he's going to he does a funny little line about hey, some things just aren't just eventually you just gotta burn some things for the insurance money. And he burns the building for the insurance money with the guys that got caught in it. Because to be fair, they did make a mistake. They did kidnap this girl in front of a cop, and as Mickey Cohen points out, it's like this is just what he's an honest cop. That's what he's supposed to be doing. You gotta account for that. It's it's like you can't get mad at the wolf for going after the deer. It's just his job.
But he had no reason to be at the train station either.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. But I mean, since he was there, it's implausible that he was there. But since he was there, he does have a little bit of an obligation to help the girl.
Yeah, but okay. This just seems like a bunch of coincidences, like piled on top of each other.
Oh yeah. I mean, the fact that it turned out to be a larger brothel, I guess, makes sense because if you're luring unsuspecting women to a bad place, odds are you're keeping other bad things there. So after this, we get yep, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in hindsight, there might have been a wider connection there to Miguel O'Hara's character, or John O'Mara's character, and why he's there. Maybe he was investigating where these women are disappearing from, and he just happened upon it.
Could be. I mean, there's reasons. I mean, if people are disappearing, that might fall under his purview.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Homicide?
Oh yeah. I mean,
Somebody ended up missing
if
or dead.
people are going
Yeah.
missing, that could be because I mean, when people, I mean, sometimes that's just eventually ends up being a murder. So yeah, kind of makes sense, I guess. I mean, that's what he was looking for, but it's not said. And yeah, I guess they eventually just track it to, oh, this has happened to Mickey Cohen's watch, so they would have then had to back off in that situation, but obviously he didn't. And for the sake of that girl, I think it's for the better, probably. Next, we're introduced to Gosling's character, Sergeant Jerry.
Wooters. Jerry Wooters.
Wooters. He's a bit of a lazy vice cop who's partaking a bit too much in the seedy side of life. He was I guess the story he gives is that he was a fighter pilot who got shot down. He makes up a bunch of lies to keep a low profile. He's getting some info from this loan shark who he's got dirt on. Mostly this is just a semi-clumsy exposition dump. We get introduced to a bunch of the other mobster characters, a bunch of lawyers and whatnot. He hits on Mickey Cohen's girl, which is Grace Faraday, who is his etiquette coach, who I guess is his girlfriend also.
This is Emma Stone's character.
Yeah.
Which I'd like to point out, just in the Wikipedia page, it says she is soft-spoken, but has a heart of fur wooters over Cohen and eventually betrays her love to their place. The point I'm trying to make here is it says she is soft-spoken, but Emma Stone's voice sounds like gargling gravel half the time. So
I mean, they're trying to go with this. They're making this really playing into the stereotype of 40s crime movies, with a bit more violence, obviously, because this is rated.
Oh, this is easily an R.
Yeah, rated R because it's pretty bloody. They have a bit of a 40s style back talk. He makes up a line about being a Bible salesman. Yeah, makes up a couple stories to pretend he's not who he says he is. They hit on each other for a little bit. They end up sleeping together, but that's not revealed until a little later. So, yeah, that's conflict. Yeah, and then now we're introduced to Bill Parker, who is super racist, actually. Yeah, no, he says a lot of bad, not politically correct stuff. He makes Mickey Cohen out to be this. He's really leaning into the fact that Mickey Cohen's a Jew, and bringing that up, making him into a beast, like a invader from the east. They drop lines like, "Oh, we took this land from the Mexicans and the Indians," and they use other slurs throughout the movie. Yeah,
I was just trying to figure out where you're going with this.
Yeah, it's weird because it's I mean, it makes them look really negative because it's but yeah, it's almost weird that one of these historical movies would actually let their characters be portrayed as racist, which is difficult. Normally, they'd Josh Brolin does not have any speech about how Anthony Mackie and Michael Pena should to deserve to be there, and there's no direct racism on display to their face, but a lot of racist attitudes in the way. Mickey Cohen does get in on it a little later. But yeah, and that's maybe a bit of an accurate portrayal because he is not necessarily Bill Parker is not necessarily liked in real life, because he's got a very militaristic view of policing, which involves harassing people a lot, I guess. And yeah, they kept this mob out of Chicago, but I mean at the end of the line it's just the mob never had a hold in Chicago. I'm like, yeah, but I mean there's gangs and stuff, I guess. So, and
Los Angeles.
Yeah. Did I say Las Vegas?
Not Chicago. No, you said Chicago.
Oh, okay.
It's Los Angeles.
But yeah, no, yeah, Los Angeles. Yeah, so
and they even said that line, and I thought to myself, bullshit. There's probably tons of mobs in Chicago.
Yeah, maybe just like not this specific mob. Like if you're talking about the specific mafia thing, that might depending on your definition, but yeah, there's still organized crime in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, tons. The LA Mafia is an actual thing. So I don't know where that line came from.
So when they say the mob, they're talking about the specific like heavily organized nationwide Al Capone stuff, Murder Incorporated and stuff like that. So they are
okay,
you
but
can say they're referring to a specific thing. Yeah, it is misleading because normal people don't think of it like this. But yeah, there is kind of like a if you're being generous, there is a bit of an organized thing. I'm like this specific mob, like the capital T capital M mafia, the mafia.
the LA Mafia was actual actual rivals to the Cohen crime family. So I mean, I don't know what they're trying to get at.
Yeah, no, it's a bit bullshit. But yeah, no, yeah, Bill Parker's pretty he's pretty racist in this. Like this movie does not sugarcoat the fact that these guys are 1940s white guys that are by factor of being 1940s white authority figures are pretty damn racist. Obviously, like it doesn't apply to like their racism doesn't apply to like a specific individuals. But then again, it rarely does. They it's a thing called tokenism that they like to do, and they're really good with one black guy. That's when you get a bunch of them in a room, then you get an issue. Enough about Bill Parker being a racist. He recruits John O'Mara to lead a off the books essentially hit squad to go after organized crime. And John O'Mara accepts in like a single word. Yeah, he's totally on board with this. And the wife, after this, he's setting up his team, which he's got permission to recruit like 5 or 6 guys. He tells his wife about it, and she breaks a dish in the other room out of anger because she's really mad at him. And this is kind of like a great scene where she's just like really gets to express herself properly. And he talks her down a little bit. The next morning, he this is the wrong page. I skipped the thing. There we go. I skipped the page, and I was very confused. I skipped like an hour into the movie for a second there. Yeah, she breaks the thing. He has to like talk to her. She's mad at him still after this. She doesn't like buy into it instantly like a lot of 1940s movies would necessarily do, which I guess is all right. This is a weird movie in regards to this sort of thing. The wife is like weirdly well-rounded, which is good. What's the wife's name? I should call her by name.
It's Connie.
Connie, yeah. Connie's a very relatively rounded character. She keeps him online. She's active. She actually handpicks the Gangster Squad herself in the morning after she's rethought about this.
Except for Jerry.
No, she picks Jerry.
No,
it's
she doesn't.
Michael Pena. No, she does. Because he's the first guy they look into. And she mentions that she picked him. The only person she doesn't pick is Ramirez, which we'll get into.
Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I heard that wrong.
Yeah, no, it's pointed out that she did. So yeah, meanwhile, we get a glimpse of Grace Faraday laying on top of Sergeant Jerry, and they have some lines. It's just like, really, it's trying to incorporate this 1940s stuff, but it's still like really weird. Like, I don't think it improves. Like, Connie O'Mara, I think, is the better of the two main female characters in this. Faraday's kind of stereotypical for like a 1940s detective movie lady. She kind of just does fall for whatever Ryan Gosling says. Though, can you blame them? Who doesn't just fall for anything Ryan Gosling says? I mean, I'm sure everyone's just like I'm sure the like some people in the audience are just nodding along, just like, yep, I'd listen to what. I don't know. Where am I going with this?
I don't know. Where are you
People
going
find
with this?
yeah, people find Ryan Gosling very handsome.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what you
Not
want
the
me
right.
to add to that.
Yeah. No. This isn't the right podcast for people to get lost into Ryan Gosling's blue eyes,
I don't know what color his eyes are.
green. I don't know. Whatever people want to say. So yeah, at this point, the wife picks out the gangster squad. She selects Coleman Harris, who's the sheriff of the nicknamed the sheriff of something street. What I forget what they call him, but he's like the beat cop in this African American section of town, and he throws knives. He throws switchblades
Yes.
as a cop in uniform, which I'm sure is perfectly fine. Although this is 1940s, I don't even know. Like, I don't know. Could anyone sue him over this? Like, he's he's doing this in the African American part of town. He might be able to grant it a little bit of liberty. Normally, that would be afforded to some racist cop, but I guess this the black cop can take advantage of it a little bit too. I guess it's yeah. He just throws knives into people's hands, which is his thing.
Yes. Hands, legs,
Yeah.
chests.
Yep. Like a switchblade too, not like a proper throwing knife. I like him though. He's kind of nice. He's a neat character. Next, they recruit this guy out of a Western magazine who's got like a who they call Hop Along. He's a old timey cop who's basically retired. He's killed a lot of bad guys, they say. So he's just like their really old enforcer guy. So he shoots things and he's really good with the bullets. He's pretty stereotypical. He's Michael Pena's character Navidad Ramirez is his sidekick, I guess, who he is pretty dismissive and racist toward.
Uh-huh. And it says prodigy in here on the Wikipedia page.
I mean, he's not doing too much of that before they do go to the shooting range. Like, he gives him a lesson
They
about
don't do.
shooting while they're on the range, and like, wait, you didn't teach him about this beforehand?
Yeah, there was literally 2 points in time where he's like, "Hey, this is how you shoot." In this whole entire movie.
Yeah, he just seems like just some like he just hired a Mexican on the cheap, I guess is what how he is. I don't get the idea that Hopalong has like a affectionate view toward Ramirez. Yeah, he's not a this has been done so much better in other places, which are weird.
Once again, this is one of the biggest issues a lot of people had with this movie is that there was very little character development. You know, you've got 5 or 6 characters that are with big names tied behind a lot of them, and just they're kind of just one-dimensional characters in all of all extensive purposes.
Look at this. I mean, we've said like half the characters we said, "Oh yeah, here's this thing that's going on here, but here's where it's been described better in a different work." So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they recruit Hop Along. Next they recruit Keeler, he's like a military intelligence guy. He's the only one with a family, which means he's going to die because I've
Yeah.
seen every cop movie basically. I mean, they killed the nerdy guy in the Untouchables too, so that's another thing. It's a little, like in a horror movie, the black guy always dies. In a cop movie, the nerd always dies.
Conwell Keeler. In actuality, this guy does eventually die in the movie. In real life, however, he outlived everybody.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, oh yeah, this guy actually just lived through everything. He's actually the only one of the original 8 guys. He was the guy that lived the longest, and that's pretty hilarious how they've changed this. But yeah, no one
But
dies as described in this movie. Yeah, no one dies as described in this movie. The closest in terms of time frame is actually Mickey Cohen's real life bodyguard who's portrayed in this, who died in about the same year that Mickey Cohen first got arrested, but in a completely different manner. He got like stabbed by
mhm.
his girlfriend's kid, and everything else is just very vague. I think there's another guy Mickey Cohen kills, but we'll get into that. That is maybe the closest, but we can't say for sure. Cohen is giving a speech to Dragna, who's a another gangster from who was a bit of a rival of Cohen's. Mickey Cohen kills him, but not in the movie. In real life, Dragna dies of a heart attack.
Yes. Dragna is actually the leader of the Los Angeles Mafia or Los Angeles family.
Mickey Cohen gives a actually a really decent Manifest Destiny speech, which I kind of like. It's like being very honest about the fact that Manifest Destiny is just an excuse to take things from other people, which is pretty accurate.
Mhm.
He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just gonna take everything from everyone because this is my fucking destiny." It's actually really well good. It's probably my favorite part of the movie, actually. So next we get O'Mara's speech to the Gangster Squad as they go on. Ramirez joins in because he was able to tail them, so they're shoehorning him into the group. They go to raid this illegal casino in Burbank. Turns out there's some cops in the casino, and them being unwilling to shoot these cops, they run away, and O'Mara and Harris get captured by the cops. They get held in a cell for a little bit until Cohen can somebody go get him. Jerry, who had earlier ditched had earlier rejected John's offer to join the Gangster Squad, is getting his shoe shined by a kid named Pete, who was a bit of a recurring character throughout the movie. He gets this is a scene he's doing, getting a shoe shined by him. Cohen thinks that Dragna did the raid on the casino initially, so he sends out some hit squads. He goes, a bunch of his guys go to gun down some of Dragna's guys in the street, and the bullets hit Joey. Jerry kills one of the gunmen in the street pretty viciously, and then goes to get revenge on Cohen. But his loan shark friend Jack, who is the reason I think that John is called John instead of Jack, though that may just because of legal reasons, he pulls Jerry aside to keep him from shooting Cohen in the middle of this lounge, I guess you'd call it. Jack tells Jerry that a couple of guys have been captured going after a casino, so he goes to go rescue them because he's officially going to go join the Gangster Squad now. They break in. This coincides with another break-in attempt by the Gangster Squad that wasn't captured. They try to pull off the bars to the cell they're in with the car. That does not work. The bumper comes off because they didn't tie it to the hitch properly. So that doesn't work. So Jerry has also simultaneously gone in the front door of the prison, pretending to be the guy coming to pick them up to get killed by Cohen out in the ditch somewhere. Turns out he's not, and the actual guys show up as he's going to pick them up. They have to break themselves out through the front door. Anthony Mackie has a little bit of a confrontation with the chief in the Burbank, who was being racist toward him. So he takes back his knife and whatnot. So, yay. Yeah. After this, they get the idea that they'll bug Cohen, spy on him a little bit, and Keeler rigs that up. They sneak into Cohen's house and set it up in Cohen's TV to get some information. The next one, then they go to intercept a heroin shipment in a nice little car chase, which almost ends badly but doesn't. Next, we get a little bit of a montage of various raids over some 40s music, including one they blow up a truck containing some telephone equipment in broad daylight. Funny no one catches them on this one. It's funny the other police don't catch them other than that one time. I mean, obviously this is all make-believe, so there's probably no real-life equivalent to this. So they're trying to figure out some information about a wire service of some sort, which is going on. Mickey Cohen is actually running a bit of a gambling network through electronics, which is very effective. And this has actually been going on for years, but they make it look like they've only just set it up in real life. So Brolin recommends that Gosling use his girlfriend to spy on Cohen. He doesn't. They end up finding the wire hub by tracking a wire that just happens to be lying around and isn't registered to anything. Pick up on it actually pretty easily. They find out the operation is based off this place called Slapsy Maxie's,
Mm-hmm.
which is oh, that's so 1940s. It's gross. That's yeah. So they do a raid on the place. They set the money on fire, destroy all the equipment, and then get out. It's a nice little gunfight. Mickey then deduces that because these guys didn't take any money with them, they must be cops. Because otherwise, they'd probably be doing this.
Yeah, this is good. Okay, so this to me is the dumbest scene I've seen so far.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they had we know who Dragna is. He was another mafia boss. Why not just make it look like a mafia hit or something and just kind of sweep everything underneath the rug? Why are they like they could have easily just went it out of their way, stolen the money, and got out.
yeah. Yeah, to be fair, that's seems to be an easy fix for this. But yeah, I think the only thing I could say is that they need to do something about the money, but that's not necessarily a big problem. They could just throw it into a fire pit out back if that's what they wanted to do. But yeah, no, this ends up giving them away, and Mickey knows that there's some sort of cops going on, and that Bill Parker's behind it somehow.
They're also operating outside of the law.
Outside of the law is a lot easier in 1949, to be fair.
They could have just pocketed that cash and been like,
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, he ends up figuring out that because of this, there must be a snitch or a bug, and he ends up finding the bug in his office, which is almost certainly something of a work of fiction. Next, we get a little bit of an ethics argument between O'Hara and Keeler about oh, what's the difference between him and M, which I don't think is I always get kind of disappointed with this sort of argument because they never really have it thought out too well. Because I mean, these guys that make this sort of movie are always just in it for some sort of action scenes, so they don't really think through the full ethical implications of what they're doing.
mm-hmm.
Brolin points out that hey, look, the difference is that what you're gonna expect someone to testify, put their life on the line so that they can have a fair trial. No, I don't think so. Which, I mean, that's kind of fair because corruption's still at a pretty bad state at this time. Like I said at the beginning, the Gangster Squad was partially formed in real life to deal with the issue of police corruption in part. So that's not an invalid statement.
Well, not only police corruption, official corruption. Like they're corrupt judges, corrupt. Like there's a lot to say about corrupt.
Yeah, like he has a point where just like he has a point about saying, "Hey, look, what's the point of asking someone to risk their life for a trial that could easily end up in the hands of some judge who can be bribed? So you want someone to risk their life for that? No, I'd rather just take the guy out back and put a bullet in his head, because that way at least we know the problem's done." Obviously, they weren't doing that in real life. I will give this movie this. It doesn't totally side with Brolin in this, because at the end of the movie they do go with the idea of actually arresting Cohen, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of a nice little move. Obviously, if they killed Cohen, that would be like a real that would kind of give away the game that this is not a true story at all. Though if you have a brain, you're kind of able to figure out this is mostly bullshit. But I mean, I say that, but people, unless it's blindingly obvious, they're not going to pick up on it very easily. Because I mean, people think Braveheart's realistic, so it's actually kind of a. It's better than it could be, but it's not as good as it could be. Because he kind of Keeler kind of frames it in a manner that's very naive. It's like, oh, what's the difference between us and them? And I'm like, okay, dude, the difference between you and them is still pretty obvious. I don't even think you should necessarily be doing this, but still.
This whole scene to me was like, I kind of had the feeling that this guy was gonna die after that, like this whole scene, because it's like, man, this is a dumb,
Yeah.
whatchamacallit, and I'm like, oh, they're trying to give him some form of an arc before they kill him off.
Yeah, and like I said, that's kind of the good point about what they're doing here is they don't just say, they don't make the movie doesn't make the statement, oh, he had to die because Keeler had to die because he's too naive to deal with the world's real problems. He's actually right. He does, with the evidence they gather, they are able to go after Cohen in the legal matter because they are able to deal with some stuff. But we'll get to that later. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna commend this scene, but it's not as bad as it could have been. Like, it's not a late stage Death Wish movie, which is a low bar, but still.
When Keeler said, you know, what's the difference between us and them? And I'm like, dude, you're still a cop.
Yeah, and like Cohen goes on like big things about, I want their families dead, kill their families. These guys aren't gonna kill Cohen's family, whatever family he might have. Their issue is with the individuals there. And that, yeah.
At one point in time, Cohen actually says, kill their dog, kill their cats. So,
And like, you can say there's a point to be made about them being the Gangster Squad being very cold toward all the violence, because when Dragna is killed, they kill everyone in that house. They even kill the maid, and he's just like, and Keeler points out that oh geez, I don't like the civilian casualties, and Cohen and Mara just says, oh yeah, well, civilian casualties happen in war, and we didn't kill those people, Cohen did. And it's kind of a bit of an interesting conversation, actually, because
mhm.
yeah, if they didn't do that, there wouldn't have been a raid. But I mean, come on, these guys are monsters. They're gonna, if they had figured it out, it was them, and they had gone through official channels, it would just be their families getting killed.
And it also boils down to a lot of the early hits in the 1940s for gangsters had lots of casualties. Al Capone was famous for paying for the funerals of victims of his hits gone wrong. He'd pay for their funerals. They'd send flowers for the families and stuff like that, and pay some of the family members off.
Yep.
The very specific line actually here was tell that to Cohen, which is better worded, makes a stronger argument, at least in my opinion. But that's all I've got to say about this scene.
Next, having known the location of the bug, he sets up a ambush for them in Chinatown, which ends up not going as well. But he also, while they're doing this, goes in to kill Keeler, who stays behind in the the building they're have the wiretap signal to, and he's killed by the main bodyguard. While Cohen monologues to him, they shoot up O'Mara's house, nearly killing Connie. When Cohen had discovered the bug, the maid had ushered Faraday out of the building so she could go run and saying never come back, because I think he figures that she's involved somehow. So she runs to Jerry, who sends her to Jack, who he's arranging to have her sent out of the town. Cohen goes over to Jack to go looking for Faraday. This is very confusing. I don't know how this exactly works here. But he personally kills Jack. Faraday sees this but keeps quiet and runs away. The ambush doesn't actually kill anyone in the Gangster Squad, which seems a bit weird. Normally, this would be the part in the movie where somebody dies, but
I've really disliked this. Well, Cohen died, or Keeler. Sorry, Keeler died.
Oh yeah. I suppose you're right. Yeah, good. Yeah, go ahead. What did you dislike about it?
Well, first of all, the title Gangster Squad is kind of dumb. Second of all, I'll give him props. I really like this scene. It was just, it had a couple of like side effects. Kids were running around. This is Chinatown. They were throwing firecrackers all over the place, and I knew this was like a setup because of the wiretap scene. It just built suspense pretty well towards this being pulled off as a trap.
Yeah, it didn't affect me too much this time, but that's maybe because I've seen the movie before and I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't remember what it felt like fresh. But I mean, this is also there's the odd attempt at some interesting cinematography in this movie. During one of the fights, during the jailbreak scene, they had cut the lights and just had like still shots lit by the gunshots, which was an attempt at being interesting, but I don't know that it succeeded. After this, after they go back, they've realized they've been ambushed, so they go back to the wiretap room to check on Keeley and find out that he's been killed. So Keeler, yeah, they go back to Keeler, find out that Keeler's been killed, and John Don John Quixote. Yeah, he goes over to Cohen's house to go rampage in there. You think Jerry? You briefly think that Jerry's going to intercept him and keep him from going in to do revenge, like Jack had done for Jerry earlier in the movie. But John just decks him and jumps in anyway. Walks in the front door anyway. Although luckily Cohen's house is empty, likely because he figured that there would be some sort of retaliation. Because I mean, yeah, they're cops, but yeah, they are cops, but I mean, they are already working outside the law. And he did just kill. He just attempt to kill Connie. So
a couple of the scenes I like here, because we're just glossing over a lot of this information. The fight between Jack Wallen and the two goons was pretty cool because he pretty much single-handedly beats up two guys. He's left alone with Cohen.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
He's about to box him. He's about to fight him, and Cohen just goes, "My boxing days are done," and he pulls out a gun and shoots the guy.
Yeah, just Indiana Joneses him.
Yeah,
that's actually a pretty good scene. Yeah, this movie does have its odd flirtation with cleverness.
Another thing I was going to bring up, which I thought we should address, Chief Parker at some point in time in the movie says, "Oh no, we can't just kill Cohen, or the gangs will rise up and take his place." He said, "We need to arrest Cohen," but there's only one.
I think he said we needed to he said he needed to destroy the operation, which yeah. I don't know how effective that is in real life. I mean, there's stuff like the wiretapping ring, which, yeah, that's a physical thing you can destroy, and that would be difficult to replace once you know what the deal is. But I mean, otherwise with like prostitution and drugs, you're just gonna instantly get replaced by somebody else. I mean, they're cops. They probably think they can do everything about this. So yeah, next John O'Hara goes to check on his wife. He finds his house bullet shot in, and finds a bit of a trail of blood. Turns out that his wife had just given birth in the tub because panic birth. I don't know how babies work. Maybe she also got shot too, but I don't know any evidence of that. So after this, everyone knows what the Gangster Squad's been up to. Which I just have one question: How? How do they all know? How does Mickey just spread this to the fucking mayor? Is that I guess the mayor's paid off? I guess maybe because they say they're gonna get dunked on. They're gonna get Bill Parker's gonna be fired, and they're gonna go after O'Hara and his team. But yeah, how does everyone know so fast? Not entirely sure.
It's 1947. There's telephones, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely telephones, yeah.
I know, but it just seems like weird that this kind of information would spread to the public, especially from Mickey Cohen, though I guess maybe he has newspapers.
But what I'm saying is there's cops, there's telephones, and if cops are going after, like, high-end, like, corrupt officials, you'd think you'd want to inform those high-end corrupt officials before the cops got to them.
Yeah, I guess. All right. Faraday has wandered over to Jerry and John because she escaped from because she wasn't able to get out of town, and she says that she's willing to testify against Cohen because she saw Cohen kill Jack, which there's no proof that Mickey Cohen killed Jack Wallen, who's a real guy, but I mean, it's entirely possible, but it's a good bit after when this movie would take place. So, yeah. Can't say too much there. That's I'm pretty sure that's
I'm pretty sure Jack Wallen and Mickey Cohen were in the same room when Wallen died.
Okay, yeah. Entirely possible. I mean, these gangsters always go after each other eventually. I think that was the main point of Live by Night, which is a decent third of a movie. No, sorry,
yes.
I should rephrase that. It's a decent 3 movies in one.
Oh,
does that sound like it's too compressed? Yes, it is. Like that's a fairly recent Ben Affleck gangster movie, which is I mean, maybe try writing a movie about the first third of that movie and break this into a trilogy, and I think he got something. They're under the impression this is going to be an art film, so they shoot Klansmen in it, so I can't complain about it. Any movie where a Klansman gets shot and dies is a decent enough movie. But you'd have to do something pretty egregious to make me hate a movie where they shoot Klansmen. So they use this information as a justification to get a warrant. They force one of the corrupt judges to sign a warrant for him in exchange for them keeping their mouth shut about what they know about him. It had been revealed earlier in the movie that he'd been getting bribed and prostitutes.
Mm-hmm.
She signs the warrant, and they begin their raid on the hotel where Mickey Cohen is staying. Yeah, so they have a nice little gunfight. They fight their way in. They kill a bunch of guys. They have a nice little gunshot thing where they shoot through a Christmas display, and it's all done in slow motion, and a bunch of ornaments are shattering. And I was very impressed with that in 2013.
Mm-hmm. This was a good scene.
Yeah,
one of the complaints that I have about it is this fight with Ryan Gosling and this enforcer dude, where John Mara throws some ammo to him, and then this guy proceeds to just rinse him with bullets. Like, he didn't just shoot him once or twice, but he shot him like 20 times. And my point being here is, I just watched you run out of ammo, and now you're just dumping your bullets into this dude.
Yeah, no.
And one of
they toss a magazine across the road to from one guy to the other, and it only makes it halfway. And I'm like, come on, Josh Brolin, you can throw better than this.
But one of the reason why I have an issue with this is because earlier on they stated that like they fortified this motel, which in total that means they fortified the bottom floor of the hotel.
Yeah, they don't stay there, which is what you do when you fortify a building. They try to go out through the front goddamn door, which
Well, they had a
doesn't end
minigun
well.
on like the third or fourth floor though.
Oh yeah, I suppose.
So I mean, I guess that could be classified as fortified, but like it's 8 guys.
Yeah, and they still try to leave the building.
Like they brought 6 guys with them, and they had
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. Yeah, not a terribly big advantage. I mean,
It's the mob. You'd think you like it's there in the name, the mob.
yeah. Yeah, mob them. Jeez. Hopalong gets shot and killed, or gets shot. As he's then as they shoot out the car that they're driving away in, and that crashes into a fountain. Or yeah, Brolin rams his car into Cohen's car, causing Cohen's car to crash into the into the fountain, leading to Josh Brolin sitting on the grass, about to get killed by the main bodyguard. Hopalong has Ramirez help him fire his gun, a combination of their little gunshot lesson from earlier in the movie, and then they shoot the main bodyguard, and then Brolin goes about boxing Sean Penn.
This scene though, yeah, it is correct. But this scene where he's like, "Aim for me," I don't fully understand how it would have been any better than him just shooting the gun himself.
Yeah, I mean, if at the point of like where you're too incapacitated by your gunshot wound to be able to aim the bullet properly, you probably just hand over the gun to the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense. A long list of things that don't make sense about this movie. Yeah, so Brolin gets into a boxing match with Sean Penn. That's not a good joke. John O'Hara gets into a boxing match with Mickey Cohen, semi-professional boxer, who, yeah, he's older in the movie, but I mean, he's only 39 in real life at this time, so, but
Mm-hmm.
still old for a boxer. But yeah,
I don't know how old. I don't know how old Josh Brolin is, but like literally, this looks like him just beating up an old man in this.
let's see, he would be 45 in this, and then Sean Penn is 52.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's only actually slightly older.
Yeah.
It looks like your dad fighting a grandpa. Not your grandpa,
Sure.
but a grandpa.
And also not my father.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
Fathers can be any age.
I guess your father, like,
okay.
I don't know. I guess my father.
You don't know my dad.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know I don't know how old your dad is. Mine would have been 45-ish 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that works for me. Okay, so I'll rephrase that. My dad fighting someone's grandpa, like some young kid's grandpa.
The old, like the audience doesn't know your father either.
No, yeah. Yeah, it's a very specific joke. Eventually, James O'Hara beats up. I called him James that time. John O'Hara.
Yeah, I don't know where
beats up Mickey Cohen, which seems almost implausible. It's weird. I don't know if this was the best way to do this ending.
What do you mean?
But yeah, he beats them up. Well, it just seems like okay, you take John O'Hara, who has no known training in boxing, and put him up against Mickey Cohen, who's a trained boxer, who's just a little bit old. Just seems like a weird.
He's still a soldier.
Like yeah, but like I feel like even like today, Mike Tyson can still beat up most untrained fighters, or untrained hand-to-hand fighters.
Yeah, but he's Mike Tyson.
Yeah, but like if you put like Mike Tyson against like a retired Marine who's never had any hand-to-hand combat training. Mike Tyson still has a good chance of winning that, I think.
What I'd like to point out is Mickey Cohen in real life wasn't actually that good of a boxer. They exaggerated it in the movie.
Like most things, yes. So yeah, it makes sense. I don't know. I don't have a suggestion of a better way to do it. Just seems like weird that like, oh yeah, you just have to beat Mickey Cohen at the thing he's best at.
And I'm pretty sure he had a gun earlier in this scene.
Yeah, but I mean he dropped his cuffs, so I doubt he's gonna bring out the gun. I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Anyway, yeah, so they bring in Mickey Cohen. Then we get our ending monologue from Josh Brolin. Jerry gets married to Faraday. John quits the force. We've explained why a lot of this is nonsense. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is Gangster Squad. That's all right. I don't know. It didn't hold up as much for the second viewing. I don't know. I think I attached myself to it because it was like,
Yeah, it didn't hold up.
yeah, because I was like, you don't get these kind of like 1940s movies nowadays too much. And I'm thinking, I don't know, maybe I'll just go back and watch some 40s movies, some 40s detective movies, and get something very good. But
Well, I mean, anything that's set almost in the mob setting is always interesting. Throughout this whole entire episode, I've actually just been going through and reading up on these old time gangsters, and that to me is so exciting because I actually had to like exit out of the Wikipedia page, or I would have been too immersed in that to really be paying attention to what you're saying. It flopped at the box office, or it didn't make money at the box office.
yeah, I'll get the numbers up here. 60
60
to
million.
75, yeah. Yeah, 60 to 75 million dollar budget, 105 at the box office, which isn't you're looking for at least 120, probably 150. Yeah, just didn't make out. 31 on Rotten Tomatoes, 40 on Metacritic, 6.7 on IMDb. 89% of Google users like it, which doesn't mean anything. Neither does the 31% on Rotten Tomatoes, but yeah, it just didn't turn out that good. I think I attached myself to it because it was like a son you don't see anymore in terms of aesthetic.
Well, Public Enemies.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's the Gangs of New York, but that's kind of like that's way older, but it's also a really good movie. This is just kind of a funny side note. Jack Wallen, the character who gets shot in this movie, he later on in his life was known as the Enforcer because he was so tough he didn't need a gun. Pretty sure he would have wanted one.
Yeah, in this case. Yeah, that actually does. I like that sort of thing when when knowing a little bit of history makes the movie better. It really doesn't happen too much with this. But yeah, I think that's the best sort of historical movie where it's just like knowing the history makes the movie a little bit better. I don't know. What are you giving it, Cody?
I'm gonna give it about a 5 out of 10. For me, some of the action sequences held up. It's set in some of my favorite time periods. I'm giving it such a low score because of its historical inaccuracies, and on top of that, it's kind of one-dimensional character design. I wouldn't give it much higher than that.
Yeah, I can't imagine doing it either. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just can't get it. I can't call it good, and that's usually my
Yeah.
benchmark of getting it. I don't even feel like particularly neutral to it. It does some interesting things, but none of that's capitalized. There's actually a thing on the Wikipedia that said that this was getting floated around Hollywood for a while because they were really impressed with the script. I I don't know. I don't think that's very. I think Hollywood was wrong on that one. Nice little actors. Yeah, it just didn't have much.
As you were saying earlier,
It didn't handle the rewatch, which is
that's what I was about to say. I was going to say that, like you even said so yourself, it's not really necessarily worth the rewatch in itself.
yeah, which is a big test for action movies. Like one of my favorites, like Wanted. I watch that like at least every 2 years, and like that's something I rewatch on the regular. And that's really the test for action movies. You watch them 50 times, and you can't with this, and it didn't hold up for this for me.
That's a lot to unpack right there and in itself.
What?
The fact that you've seen Wanted like 50 times.
Oh yeah, Wanted with James McAvoy. Yeah, I like that quite a bit.
It's good, but I wouldn't watch it 50 times.
Yeah, I don't know. I was impressed with it. I got good music in it, and I thought the plot was all right. And like I said, every time I complimented or like sort of said something interesting about the movie, it was something that like, oh, this has been explored better elsewhere. So yeah, I guess watch like I don't know, play LA Noir or Mafia 3 or watch The Untouchables maybe. It's a bit like the characters are better in that. Maybe look up some classic gangster flicks. That's always fun. I've been meaning to do more of that for
Godfather.
years. Yeah, yeah. Eventually, I got to watch The Godfather.
I haven't watched it either, to be fair. So
Yeah, maybe we'll do that eventually. I watched Goodfellas. Goodfellas is pretty damn good.
don't think I've ever seen that one either. I watched Lawless with
I don't
Shia
remember
LaBeouf.
that one for sure.
It
Wait,
was more towards Rum Runners.
Yeah, I have actually. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like Three Brothers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like three.
Two.
Yeah.
Nope,
Yeah,
maybe three. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw that in theaters too, because that came about
Oh.
the same time as this. Yeah, no, that was that was like one of the earlier things I saw in theaters when I went to university. But yeah, that's a movie I kind of like. It just didn't catch up on me. That's actually a decent Shia LaBeouf movie. I don't mind him in that. Yeah, no, he does all right in that. So what are we reviewing next week, Cody?
I think we're on to our last like 3 movies in total.
Yeah, I'll roll a thing. Okay, that's a 1. Wolf Cop.
Nice.
Yay. Yeah, we get to watch some
That's undone.
our first yeah, what's that? Yeah, our first Saskatchewan film.
Mm-hmm. That's on Prime, right?
What, is it? I don't know. I have it on DVD.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I have it on DVD from
Okay.
I'll tell more of that story next week because that's more interesting there. But yeah, I got that at I bought that at Comic-Con like 5 years ago. Yeah, they were doing the push then. I saw the guy was in the costume. This was at Fan Expo Regina back in the day. So yeah, Wolf Cop next week. You can remember to follow us on the Facebooks. I just put up a thing asking for recommendations for season 2. Yeah, that's a Kyle and Cody's called CinemaCast on Facebook. That's the same as the YouTube. Make sure to circulate the links. Our Twitter is at KCCCC. Yeah, circulate the links. Leave 5-star reviews because we're the best around and nothing's ever gonna keep us down.
I mean, we could easily say we're the best based out of Estevan, Saskatchewan. I don't even know if there's any other any other Saskatchewan film critics.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Yeah, who's our competition?
Well, we have a lot of competition, just not a lot of competition in Saskatchewan, right? So
yeah, like I mean, we've had some rivalries, I guess. There was like Night and Day with Kyle and Cody, which I think we've beat them pretty thoroughly.
Yeah, by like 18 episodes.
In the fact that we've had more episodes. I don't know about their viewership, but I don't imagine it's too much if they've only done 2. Yeah, I don't know if we have any other. I don't know who our new rival is yet. All right, well, see you guys next week where we review Werewolf Cops. Yay! See you guys. Goodbye.